Good evening, everybody. It is Charlie, and welcome back to another video on the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel. It's time for another installment of Bite-Size Leeds. You know what that means, guys. All the latest goings on in the wonderful world of Leeds United Football Club. There's been quite a few things that have happened since I was last on. Apologies for the lack of content over the last week or so. To put it bluntly, guys, I think I just needed a break. Obviously, after the relegation, I did say that I might take a few days just to process it. But then at the same time, I was thinking, maybe if I just keep going with the content, it'll be easier to deal with. But then I did a few uploads after the relegation was confirmed, and I just realised that I needed to take a step back. I feel like I needed to process the relegation a little bit, process everything that's going on. Obviously, as you all know, I did mention on the channel, I've recently started a new job. So obviously, I'm trying to get into the swing of that, as well as obviously a few personal things that have been going on as well. Leeds United all just rolled into one, and I think it just got a bit on top of me. So I thought I'd just focus on myself for a little bit. But enough of that boring stuff. I'm back now, guys. I'm back better than ever. And content is going to resume as of this video. So just before we get into it, as always, please smash that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you are brand new. We're on the road to 3,000. Let's see if we can get there as soon as possible. Please hit that notification bell so that you're aware of when I'm uploading and going live. And of course, get all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. So then, what has been going on? Let's get into the main talking point, which I'm sure you're all wanting to hear my thoughts on, and that is the takeover, and that it has now been confirmed by Leeds United as of Friday evening. It was a great start to the weekend to see that Acer, the company that is owned by Andrea Radrizzani, and the San Francisco 49ers have agreed a deal for the purchase of the club, which will see the 49ers take over. And yeah, look, obviously there's about 11 investors included in this group. They'll all have to go through the EFL like background checks and stuff, which should be fine, but that can take up to a few weeks. But the main thing is that the ownership situation is now resolved. What does that mean? Now, it means that Leeds United can obviously now push on and try and get this new manager sorted. We can obviously, the transfer window opens on Wednesday, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see which players stay, which players go, which players are loaned out, things like that, and which players, more importantly, that Leeds United can bring to the club this summer. Now, as always, with a new set of owners, I can understand why there's still a little bit of skepticism around the 49ers, obviously, because there's people saying, they've had 44% for a while now. Have they been involved in the decision making regarding the sacking of Bielsa, the appointment and the sacking of Jesse Marsh, Javi Grazia, Big Sam, etc.? Look, I think even though they had 44%, I still think the club was Andrea Radrizzani's. I know he only had 56% and it wasn't 100% his, but I feel like a lot of the main decisions were coming from Rads, Victor Orta and Angus Kinnear. And the 49ers were probably just silent partners in the matter. I could be completely wrong on that. It's just how I kind of see it. And look, we can't really judge the 49ers yet. They've not really made any decisions that we can blame on them yet. And that's why it's really interesting, now since that news was aired by Phil Hay and Leeds United on Friday night. There's been, a lot of talk about the director of football. There's been a lot of talk about the manager, players, etc. Now it really feels like the summer is just getting started for Leeds United. But yeah, my initial reaction to the news about the takeover was very positive. I am happy that Andrea Radrizzani is finally leaving our club. Yes, he has done some things that were very good. The appointment of Bielsa, he brought back Ellen Road for a brief period. All of the fans were on his side. Fair play. But I feel since the sacking of Bielsa, in fact, since the end of the first season in the Premier League, it's really, really gone downhill at boardroom level. I've seen a lot of content creators say it. I've seen people on Twitter say it. We've been a Premier League team ran with a League One outfit behind the scenes, and it's right. Obviously, now we're in the Championship as a result of the bad decision making at boardroom level. But if the 49ers are smart, if they've got people who they can bring in who are football people and who can make decisions on their behalf, then this could be the start of a very successful era at Leeds United. But that all comes down, it all is dependent, sorry, on the director of football, the manager, and obviously players that we can bring in, if any, which I think we will bring players in. It'll just be interesting to see who we manage to get over the line. That brings us obviously onto the director of football chat. Now, the main name that is getting mentioned at the minute is Stuart Webber, who is currently at Norwich City. Now, I think this is the guy that obviously made the comment about women's football, that it isn't for him and that he doesn't understand it, and blah de blah de blah. If that's his opinion, then fair enough. But I feel like it's a bit of a silly thing to say when you're a chairman of a football team. But that's just me. Would I take Stuart Webber? I'll be honest, guys, I don't know. I don't know enough about him. I know he's a Leeds fan. So I think that's why he was initially linked with us. But I feel like that rumour is starting to slowly gather some weight behind it. And obviously, I feel like that's the reason why a certain manager, according to Sky Bet, is the bookie's favourite for the job at the minute, which we'll be coming on to in just a second. But as for Stuart Webber, fair enough. He could come in and he, could be able to acquire some very good players for Leeds. My only worry, though, is that, and the worry that I have about this coach that we're going to talk about in a second as well, is that they were at Norwich where they always smashed the Championship, but then they'd get to the Premier League and they just couldn't sustain it. They were a yo-yo club. I'm surprised they didn't come straight back up this time. They haven't, so fair enough. But you know, they were always a yo-yo club, which is my only worry. But again, can we afford to be picky? Part of me thinks yes, we can because we're Leeds United and we're a much bigger club. But then part of me says no because of the position that we find ourselves in. So it is a tricky one. On to the manager then, as you can see him in the thumbnail, Daniel Farker, formerly of Norwich. Again, I don't know how to feel about it due to the reasons that I have just said about Webber. The guy did well in the Championship, very well. He got them promoted numerous times, but he also got them relegated numerous times. And, you know, he's just been a coach. Was it at Borussia Mönchengladbach in Germany, and he got sacked? So I don't know. In all honesty, because I can understand why they'd look at Daniel Farker given his record in the Championship, but not for his record in the Premier League, which is where we're trying to get back to at the first time of asking. I just don't know. Really, really don't know. Obviously, on the manager search as well, obviously, there's Carlos Corberan, who is the bookie's second favourite for the job. Again, understandable. Former assistant to Bielsa, did wonders at Huddersfield to get them to that playoff final. I know they lost it to Forest, but to get them there with the squad that they had was an unbelievable achievement. He's then gone to West Brom and done a really good job there. So he has got experience in the Championship and in English football. So again, I can understand that. But then there's like Scott Parker, Gerrard, and I'm just thinking, no. Don't want Scott Parker. Absolutely not. Um, Gerrard again is a weird one for me because when he first went in at Villa, he did really well with them. But then obviously it did tail off towards the end of his time there. Rangers is Scottish football. It might as well be League Two football over here, so you can't really judge him on that. So would I take him? Probably not. No, I think as it stands now, I think it'll either be Daniel Farker or Corberan. If we get Stuart Webber as director of football, then I think it will be Daniel Farker. Now they have said, according to Phil Hay and a lot of very reputable sources, Leeds United are hoping to get the manager appointed by the end of this week coming. So, Friday, Saturday, or even this time next week. Right, okay. If Daniel Farker's appointed, then you just know that it's going to be Webber as the director of football. The other director of football that's been linked, his name escapes me, but I know he's at Middlesbrough at the minute. What could possibly go wrong? Getting a director of football from Middlesbrough. For those of you that don't know, Victor Orta was formerly of Middlesbrough. So yeah, look, I did say that they needed to get things sorted quickly. It's been 2 weeks today since relegation was confirmed and the ownership's been dealt with, which is a positive sign. If we can get the manager sorted by at some point this week, that's 3 weeks in. Right, good. The director of football, I mean, I feel like we could still recruit players without a director of football, but that also needs sorting as soon as possible as well. Um, So yeah, look, my head's a little bit scrambled with the whole director of football and manager search because none of the names I'm hearing are particularly names that I would extremely want. Obviously, there's Brendan Rodgers for the manager, but he's not going to come to the championship. Definitely not. Um, Graham Potter, he's definitely not going to come either. But those are the two that I would really, really want. So you've kind of got to pick the best of a bad bunch, and it's probably going to be Farker or Corberan. But let's just hope whoever they appoint does the job well. And finally, we'll just finish on a little bit of transfer speculation that I've seen recently, and I think it's interesting because I do really rate him. Coventry playmaker Gustavo Hamer, who did score in the playoff final against Luton. Obviously, they did lose out on that occasion, but obviously he's been touted by Premier League clubs as well. But Leeds United are set to be very interested in the midfielder now. This is one that I would be doing everything possible to get over the line. 9 goals and 10 assists in the Championship last season with Coventry, which is a very, very good return for a decent team in the Championship as well. And like I said, guys, this is one that I will definitely be trying to do everything humanly possible to get this one done. My fear, though, is that he will go to the Premier League. I think he had that good of a season with Coventry. Obviously, he scored that goal in the playoff final where everyone could see him. I feel like he could maybe turn up at like a Wolves or maybe a Palace, maybe someone like that. But obviously, there is Championship teams. Leicester could look at him as well. Southampton could possibly have a look as well. So, obviously, Leeds United are also a big club, and if you offer him a certain deal, he may take it. He might think of it as a project that he wants to help get Leeds United back to the Premier League and kind of be a part of a new era at the club. But yeah, he is a player that I think would really fit in well at Leeds United, and a player that I feel like could really thrive at Leeds United as well, especially if we bring other good players in and around him and things like that. So yeah, look, there's plenty to be positive about at the minute. There is. Ownership sorted. A manager should be appointed this week. The transfer window opens on Wednesday, so hopefully we'll get a lot more clarity on players leaving, players coming in, etc. So yeah, make sure that you keep your eyes peeled, and obviously bite-sized leads now will return weekdays at around 8 o'clock ish. Monday to Friday, and then I'm hoping over the next week or two to get a little segment in on a Sunday night where we do a live stream when we'll get some other people on to have a chat just about the week's news and what we think is going to happen in the summer. So yeah, plenty of content coming out over the coming days and months, guys, as always. So hit that notification bell so that you're always aware of when I'm uploading and going live. Please smash that like button. It really does help get the video out there and get more eyes on the channel. Please subscribe if you're brand new. We're on the road to 3,000. And of course, get all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you.